Give me a second. I'm gonna come back in. It's not showing all you guys for some reason. Hey guys.
You there? We don't have video now.
Hello, this is Richard.
Hey, Richard, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Glad to hear it.
Glad to see you made it back safely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was just a kind of a quick 24-hour trip. So.
Wow. Anybody else on yet?
Paul and I are on. Lauren Morales is on. Taylor's on. Tim's on, and Julie is on.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Good group already.
David, thank you for your help in getting these minutes all caught up.
Oh, sure. Sure. No problem at all.
Davis, quick comment on the meetings. January, it shows that the board approved a 10-year CIP, and that was not correct. It wasn't approved.
What was approved on what?
It was approved in March. It shows that a 10-year CIP was approved in January.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, we get that.
Yeah. Hey, Richard, can we also get the name of the engineering firm changed on the website?
Actually, I did that today.
Okay.
Oh, good job.
I looked at the site and saw that's not right, so I sent them a correction.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it might be easier if we just go ahead and start working on those minutes after the meetings instead of volunteering to do them.
Right.
Yeah.
A little further down the line, just to avoid. I just think it'll help keep everything fresh on everybody's minds.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
A little less research is required.
Julie, were you relieved they pushed the tax date to May, or
No.
just extend your BS season?
It just extends it. It doesn't. It's yeah.
Just drags it out further, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Never ending.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Dee. How are you?
So, Richard, did I misplace some of the minutes, or do we only have minutes for 2 meetings in our packet?
You only had minutes for 2 meetings in your packet. The other ones came later.
Got it. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't misplace them.
Nope.
We sent the the next sets, it wasn't entirely clear to me that we were doing all of them, and so we sent those on Monday afternoon. That's what Richard was asking about. I had to leave town for a funeral, and so we were kind of in a rush to get them pushed out. Couldn't.
Yeah, and sorry, our reporting
get them done on the weekend.
The meeting packet, we'll make sure to get it in there from now on. I was running a little behind as well.
Yeah, Taylor, I have to have that by Monday at noon so I can get it in the packet that I deliver on Monday evening.
I appreciate it. I think we talked about it last time and it just slipped my mind. I apologize about that.
No problem.
It wouldn't have mattered when you delivered it. I wouldn't have been able to look at it. So.
Were you able to look at it when I sent it, BCC?
No, I haven't looked at it yet.
Are you on a Mac?
No.
Oh, okay. I knew you had trouble looking that other PDF up, so I was just wondering.
Oh, no, that was a operator error.
I have other clients that have Macs and I have to send them a link because otherwise it displays very weirdly on their stuff.
Yeah.
Mark's in.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, welcome.
We're just missing Gerard.
Is Tom in there too?
I see
He was.
screen.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
So is Dee the only member of the general public we have so far?
It's the only one I see.
Yes, I'm on. Can you hear me this time?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Dee.
Hi.
Hi, Tom. How are you? Oh, I think you're muted, Tom.
Where'd that come from?
We like that.
Phone ringing.
You never know when you're going to get a call.
Yep.
I was in a public hearing on a big drainage project that we're working on 2 nights ago with 125 people on this WebEx, and had my son, and they in meetings like that they won't allow you to control whether or not you're muted, so they can control the crowd, and had my 8-year-old son run in during the presentation to show me something at 8 o'clock.
Hey, Richard, did Gerard say he was going to be here tonight?
I didn't hear anything from him. I don't know.
Okay. Give him a minute.
You want me to go knock on his door?
Yeah. I would, but I'm not home, so.
So just so I'm clear, the people that have called in are Mark and Richard. It's who else is on the phone? I just want to make sure I have everybody for the minutes.
Tim, I'm in the audience.
One more time.
Robert McElroy.
Mr. McElroy.
Howdy.
And who else was on?
Tim, this is George Gilmer. I'm a member of the audience. Good to hear your voice.
Great. Hi, George. Thanks.
All right. Well, should we get started?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to call the meeting of the Board of Directors of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District to order at 6:32 p.m. on March 25th of 2021. We have 4 directors present.
I think Gerard may have just joined.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm here.
Nice.
Okay.
Gerard.
All right. So we have 5 board of directors members present. Okay. First item on the agenda is to confirm the meeting minutes of the board of directors on January 11th and the 28th. And I guess the 4th and the 25th, we're going to table till next month. So does anybody have any comments, corrections for the meeting on the minutes of the meeting on January 11th?
No.
Okay. Yep, they looked good. Okay. All right. Do we have a oh man,
I'll make a motion
thank
to
you.
pass January 11th minutes.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Mark,
Okay. All right. Meeting minutes on January 28th of 2021. Do we have any comments, any corrections that need to be made to those minutes?
Yeah, Julie, this is Gerard. I have 3 different corrections I believe need to be made.
Okay.
One, there were a number of public comments made. Let's see if I can pull up my notes here. So there were comments by John Blyle, basically commenting on the transition. Robert McElroy about well 1 status, and Mark Denham about park plans, flood mitigation, people enjoying the park.
Okay.
In addition to that, I believe that the 5th item agenda was not approved, that instead it was deferred, according to my notes.
That's correct. That's the one we just talked about?
That's exactly right.
In March.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the 6th, there was no action on the park plan with the 6th.
Correct. They just talked about different ideas and that.
Okay,
Yeah.
must have been before the meeting started, I suppose.
Did they not talk about it at that meeting? I don't know. I can't remember back 2 months ago. So
Yeah, looking back at my notes, those are three
Okay.
points. So yeah, I don't support them.
okay.
We
So then
can you want me to revise them and just get them on the just bring them back next meeting with the other 2 sets? That'd be easy.
That'd be great.
Sure.
Okay.
And Julie, we had a motion and a second on the 111 minutes, but no vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes of the meeting on January 11th? Julie, aye.
Aye.
Tim, I.
Mark, aye.
Gerard, aye.
Okay. Number 2 on the agenda, receive comments from the public.
Okay, this is Dee. I'd like to say something. Okay, I'm calling, I'm talking about the hydro tank at plant number 3. Now, it was leaking. I guess this is a question for Richard. Are there no alarms that go off when things are malfunctioning?
No, that was just a leak in the valve. It wasn't nothing serious enough to alarm anything. It didn't affect the plant at all, other than the fact it was leaking.
Okay, since that's a pressure tank, what's the worst thing that can happen?
I'll lose the pressure in the tank. It'll blow off. There's a safety valve on top, and there's other things that can that'll prevent it from the tank actually blowing up. There's only 60 pounds of pressure in it.
Okay, so it's not gonna hit our house if it goes?
No, it's not going to blow up. No.
Okay.
We have a lot of precautions to prevent that from happening.
Okay, there was a big loud noise about 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Is that having anything to do with the plant?
No, not to my knowledge. The plant's all fine.
Was it in the morning or the afternoon, Dee?
It was about little after 2.
In the afternoon?
Yeah, and there was nothing said on next door about an outage or anything else. So that's why I called Richard the next morning, just, to see. But anyway, now my next question or my next comment here is about the packets that all of you get. Now, we have elected all of you so you could be well informed and make good decisions. Now, I think last month, nobody got the info until Thursday. And I'll tell you, I can speak from experience because when I was on the board, we got everything on Monday. So we at least had a few days to look this stuff over before the meeting. And also, I would like to comment because now we can see what other MUDs are getting as far as their information. They're getting a heck of a lot more information than this MUD is getting. And I'm suggesting if it needs to be timed differently, just change the day of the meeting until you get all your stuff. Oh, and one more thing, since Blyle is no longer the engineer, I noticed his name is still on the website. Could we get that changed to our new engineers?
D. Richard said he changed that this afternoon.
Oh, okay, because last time I looked this afternoon, it wasn't there, so good. Okay, thank you, that's it.
I have a follow-up question for Richard that Dee asked. Is there an alarm that goes off if there's a leak?
None that will go off for a leak. Only if there's a pressure failure or a power outage or low level indicators. There's all kind of other ones, but not for a leak.
Okay.
Hey, Richard, can I ask something kind of tagging on to Dee's thing? Can you notify the board of directors, even if you just send out an email to us, anytime there's a major, like when you have to cut off the water to a certain area? Because I don't know about anybody else, but I get calls and I get emails from people saying, I don't have any water. And I'm like, I have no idea why you don't have any water. So if you could just send us out a little, I don't respond or anything, just, here's what's going on. We've had to shut off the water on this street or that street or whatever, just so we're not caught off guard.
Yeah, sure, that's no problem. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you right now, I'm shutting off the water to Vicksburg tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Oh, okay.
I have to replace a meter valve.
Okay.
It'll only be off about an hour, so it's no big deal.
Okay. Is that gonna cause the? Oh, you're just replacing a valve. You're not doing anything else where the water, it's going to create the discolored water or anything?
No. We're just replacing a meter valve, but I have to shut the street down to do it because it's on our side. But it's only Vicksburg. It's only those houses just on Vicksburg, nothing else.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Do I have any other comments from the public?
Yes, this is Robert McElroy.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I've been looking, I'm sure many people in here are aware of what the tax rate per 100 is. And I want to compare. If we look at Shenandoah, which has no HOA, and of course they have a lot of commercial property, their tax rate per 100 is $1.99. You look in the Woodlands, of which there's only 2 areas in the Woodlands that have an HOA, but the rest have no HOA. Their tax rate per 100 is $2.19. If you look in Crichton Village, behind us here, it's $2.25 and a $400 annual fee for HOA. So if you come over to River Plantation, it's $2.23. So we're higher than the other 3, really, well, 2 of them. And of course, Crichton Ridge is in Conroe itself. Now, if we figure in, and I'd like to know if the next number you look at is the $800 we pay as a RPCIA member, And if I was to take that $800 and put it on a $185,000 house, appraised value, that's worth $2.32 a hundred. Okay, so we're already at $4 and change, 50 cents plus. Okay, and then we look at the RPMUD, and what I gathered from the comments from Gerard, if he was to say that we had a $15 million bond, we'd be looking at $1,100 a year payment per home on average, 1,000. Well, I'd like to know, I know you're going to have a presentation, and you're going to look to sell people on this idea of spending a lot of money, or not spending the money, getting credit, which means you can spend the money. And so there'll be a rate increase. And I translate that, just $15 million based on $1,100, that'd be about $1.69 a hundred, which puts our tax rate at $6.25 a hundred. So if we're looking to say we're going to have increased value of our homes in here, that is one thing that'll put a stop on it. When people put the numbers to it and look at what we're paying in the way of tax rate, or potential tax rate, if you exercise all the credit. And I'm not sure, there's more work that needs to be done to come up with these numbers. I know that. I haven't had a lot of time, but I think you need to look at that, because you have an HOA meeting, or rather not HOA, a MUD meeting, as your lawyer suggested in the last meeting. This question, I think, should be discussed and say, if we're looking at $27 million, and over time, what are people going to be paying in the way of increased rate? And what does this mean to the competitiveness of our homes in this subdivision in terms of marketability and thereby the value of the home? And so with that, that's the first part of my point. The second had to do with the development of the engineering study. Did one firm determine the requirements and multiple firms bid on those requirements? And did we have maybe an outside auditor, say from the Texas Groundwater District or the water treatment plant governing level, to look at what was proposed and say these are legal and reasonable, or that we're out of? Because I know a lot of things can be done because we can say, oh, it's old. Well, old doesn't necessarily new does not necessarily translate to better, because a lot of times old stuff, it's easier to get repaired and maintained than if you got a lot of electronics in there and you're looking at maybe more maintenance in terms of maintaining the whole operation. I know for a fact, I've talked with one person who's inspected our wells, and he says you have well-maintained property in terms of your well locations, and he's impressed by it. So I think he did an audit maybe a month or 6 weeks ago. And if you haven't read that report, and if Richard has it, or if there was one prepared, I think you need to look at that and take that into account, what was proposed. The work for the sewer line and the water line and the drainage, that's good. That's great. I'm not going to say one thing or another about that. I agree. But I don't think we can do work all we can on the sewer, on the drainage around here, and it's not going to help us a whole lot if they flood us with that Lake Conroe. And the other part of that flood business is, have you taken an effort with Charlie Riley to get out here and work these drainage areas, the part that he's responsible for? Because we don't have to pay for that other than through our county taxes. And that's what we need to have done. And there are homeowners that say, you don't clean my yard out. It's not their yard. It's 30-foot frontage from center of road, and that's county property. And they should go through there, irregardless of the owner's concerns, and dig it out and get it done. As far as getting, because I've heard him report to say homeowners don't want that done. They don't want that done. Well, obviously we don't want it done like it's done over there on Judah Way in that area where we're having all kinds of work done. Nothing like that. But there are a lot of ditches around here that need to be maintained, and culverts need to be cleaned out. And so I think the board needs to write a letter and be in contact with Charlie Riley to get his people over here and get it taken care of and get on their schedule, like we did, like the HOA did for the road maintenance. And those are my points for the day. And I encourage you to develop here again the rate per 100. What's the max? What's the min? And what's it based on? How much money we're going to advance? And $2 million for a rec park, I think you can probably sell that, even though I don't think you need to have bathrooms on the park. I don't think you need to do much more than what you got now. You can do some more, but we realize that can be a cost deal and a security issue in terms of keeping that going. But people are happy right now with that. So I'm glad to see you're going to do that. I think you need to look at your numbers and say, maybe we need to package it a little different and say, we'll go with this amount now and we'll look for getting approval later on. Because for me as a homeowner, I know if I vote for that, I'm putting the money on the table to be used in one way or another, and hopefully not used at all or used in a minimal manner. So that's my points. I thank you for listening.
So Robert, can I address a couple of your points?
Sure.
City of Shenandoah, City of Conroe, the Woodlands, they all have sales tax revenues. We don't have.
That's why I said. That's why I said that. I prefaced that. I said, yeah, we don't have. Obviously, we don't have marketable frontage on Highway 45, so we don't have that commercial property. But how much of a penalty do we have to pay in order to not?
Well, I don't think it's a penalty.
Rate, you know?
I think it's actually an advantage to not having commercial property inside River Plantation. It increases
I'm not
the value
proposing
of your
that.
home.
I agree there. But
Okay.
then the rate you're having to pay, and if you go in the Woodlands, you don't see commercial property sitting out there in the Woodlands like that.
No,
It's all
but
on the highway.
I find your rates hard to believe, but I will do some checking because
I
I
think-
can tell you the property taxes that people in the Woodlands pay are about 4 times what we pay in River Plantation.
Well,
And
because
have you added all of the HOAs and the MUDs to just the county property taxes and the hospital district?
yeah, I looked up addresses. I was over there. My daughter and son-in-law are looking to move, and they've heard about the Woodlands, and the realtor said, yeah, who owns a home in Shenandoah. She previously owned a home in the Woodlands, and she said there's two Woodlands is subdivided into different entities. There's 2 entities in there that have an HOA, but the rest of it, the majority of it, they don't have an HOA, and they pay $2.19. And she said, well, I moved to Shenandoah. I only pay $1.99. And so here again, I know we're not commercial. I'm not proposing that. I don't think we could ever fly in that manner. I agree with you. It's just that we need to be aware of what we're doing here in terms of our rates. And and if you could have an accountant put together the numbers to say this is what you're looking at in terms of rate per 100, and then if you want to be truthful, include that RPCIA rate too.
We don't have anything to do with the RPCIA.
No, but it does for the homeowner. They have something to do with it because they have to pay it, and it's their total money out of pocket. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, can I also
and that's another point too. Another thing about that, it's possible that the RPCIA, that responsibility can come under the MUD district, and you may have some cost savings there too. So
do what? We don't want to take over the CIA.
Well, I can imagine. I know what you mean about that, but I'm saying there are MUD districts who run, especially municipal utility districts that run the HOA.
Yeah.
In other words, the deed restriction part.
We won't while I'm on the board. If I can vote against it. So
I hear you. I know what you mean. I know. I'm going to argue about that.
Let me also address your other issue about the infrastructure. I'm going to read.
Right.
Do you remember this letter that Mr. Kurtzinger and I believe you and Bernadette were passing it out for him, for Mr. Kurtzinger and Mr. Mahaffey right before the last
No,
election?
I didn't pass out any. No letter by me was passed out in his behalf.
Well, I'm going to read you.
He had somebody come around the neighborhood. I talked with him once, and that was because I ran across him on the bike trail. Other than that, I had nothing to do with that.
All right. Well, I'm going to read you a quote from that letter. Okay. Most of the infrastructure, water, sewer, and stormwater drain lines in RPMUD's district are over 50 years old. Maintenance and replacement costs are escalating. Every year that we put this off and that we kick this can down the road, it costs potentially more for the subdivision and for the homeowners. And if you saw the areas that I saw, which we will be having a meeting and we will show you pictures of what we've seen, you would be incensed that that was happening in your neighborhood. Because as a homeowner, I've lived in RP for 25 years. I'm going to tell you, I was thoroughly disappointed in what I saw. Thoroughly.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I agree with. I mean, I'm open to hear what needs to be presented. I'm saying, I mentioned earlier that those three things you address, the stormwater management, which that's always been a confusing factor of who does that, but now it's clarified in that standpoint, and the sewer system and the water system. Those three areas I think are important, but from the standpoint of the wells and the water treatment facility, to me, I would put them down the line because I've seen a lot of money spent on those areas to keep them maintained. And I know when we had Harvey and that water treatment plant flooded. I mean, that water treatment plant, it ran like a top, even though we lost pumps. And Richard got them. We had money to go buy the pump replacement as soon as it became available. So facility there may be a second. And the top thing, of course, I think is your water, and second, the sewer, and then third, the drainage is the way I look at it if I was looking at priorities. But here again, I'm saying if you go to a water treatment plant and you go in there, and I swear, to me, an outside, non-interested party that has audited it and has no money on the game to say, hey, your equipment's going to break down. But I know a lot of that equipment, you say you can't replace it, but a lot of the times it can be custom made by machine shops because if it's made in the 60s, it's not that sophisticated that it can't be made again. And I know y'all spent $1.5 million on the water treatment plant
Close to
recently.
it. Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of money spent. So what is it we need to do for that?
Hey, Joe, can I jump in quick?
Sure.
Yep.
This is Taylor Reed with the engineer Vogler and Spencer. I agree with you. Your water wells are in great condition. They're producing water like they should. Ground storage tanks are good. No replacement there. Hydro tanks. I did just get in the electrical report from our electrical engineer that audited that. Some of the equipment's quite outdated. He didn't say anything about it being replaced absolutely within the next 5 minutes. There is a little bit of safety hazard because of regulation changes that are a little bit concerning, but as far as the way your water plants run or anything like that, the majority of y'all's issue for the district and the immediate action items are really within that drainage, sewer, and water. When we're putting together these bond authorization items, we're trying to escalate to 10, 20, 30 years down the road so that you don't constantly have to go to your voters every 5 years and say, hey, we're going to get more money from you guys. Hey, we're going to go spend more money from you guys. Because that starts to look like every time you sell bonds, you sell everything you can, and then you go ask the voters for more money. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm voting on my stuff, if you ask me to come back every year and vote for more money, it doesn't matter if you're asking for $2 or $100. It's going to be the same response if it gets to be a repetitive item.
So this is Jeff Vogler. I just want to add a little bit to what Taylor said about the electrical, and that's both at the water plants and the sewer plant. At this point, no one's saying, hey, we need to run out and replace all the electrical controls. We're just trying to do is make sure you realize that at some point, the equipment will be outdated and you will not be able to get replacement parts. And then you start having major issues. We just want to make sure the district is in a position that when things do need to be replaced, they can be replaced.
Well, it's also possible
if you are in if I can add, right now, you are the district is in a financial position in which if it had a series of major repairs that were required, would not have a means by which to finance those repairs. Yeah. And so this bond authorization is insurance against a repair that can occur can be required at any time. We always recommend that our clients have bond authority available in the event in excess of the immediate needs that can be identified, so that in the event that there is a repair that is necessary, that the district has the ability to complete that repair without the additional, 6 to 9 months that can be associated with the bond election. So the lead time that is already required to get some of this work done is significant, and really takes a lot longer than people like to think, because they're government funds and all the plan approvals and the county and the TCQ and everything else that's involved. And so being able to shave off that 6 or 9 months when you have a real issue, and you're talking about, water supply and sewer supply to homes, is really important.
So Davis, I've got a question for you. So,
Sure.
As I stated before, I do support a bond, but I think that 25 million is more than double what we need. Well, more than double. But in some recent payments or recent papers that I'd signed, I believe there was a new estimate of the assessment. Will that be included in the bond that the voters actually see, that assessment per $100,000? And do you recall, or Julie, do you have? I don't have a copy of it. I didn't get a copy.
I
The voter
scanned it,
information sheet.
Yeah, I don't have it with me.
That will be posted on the district's website, Gerard. It is not. I can't tell you exactly how it will show up on the county's voting machine. That the entirety of that information won't show up. The main thing that you will see is the proposition, which doesn't include that voter information worksheet. But that voter information worksheet will be made publicly available, including being posted on the district's website with the order calling.
So we're only 5 weeks away approximately from the election. Do you know when it will be published on the website?
I can check with Richard and with our staff to see when it's going to go up, but it should go up soon.
Okay, and Julie, can you confirm it was over $600 per 100,000 in
I
an
think it was
evaluation?
686. If I remember right.
686 per $100,000
Correct.
per year for.
That was at the maximum, the 25 million. And I think Warren can address that when he.
If all, right.
Yes.
27 million, 27. Isn't it?
If the entire, yes, once the entire amount of the bonds are issued, once we draw down 27 million, then at that point it's $686 per 100,000.
Yeah.
But that's the entire amount is taken.
Yeah, Robert, I think that's pretty much in alignment with my very rough estimate. It's a lot.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so what I would look at is this. I would identify the critical components that you think may fail and go ahead and get the inventory and cover that with increased water and sewer rate. So you can get that done, and you have preventative measure for the next 10 to 15 years to cover equipment maintenance. And then you could probably drop some of that money that you need and asking for voter. You want to succeed at the ballot box. That's all I'm saying. And when people look at that and say, wow, I'm going to be chunking out $1,200 in addition to what I'm already paying, which is $600. I'm paying more than this. I am for
$1,200 until we take the entire 27
I know
million.
that. Yeah, 600, 680. I understand that, but potentially, okay. And so at the time of, if you look at that, I'm paying more for that than I'm paying for Conroe ISD.
Robert, how old are you? How old are you?
Well,
are you in your 70s?
Yeah, I'm tax. I got tax exemption. I know.
Okay. No, that's not where I'm going. Are you going to be here in 30 years when we take the 27 million? I'm not going to be alive in 30 years, hopefully, when we take the 27 million. Okay.
Okay. Well, the other question, I hear you there. So the other question I have, if you're looking over a 30-year period to draw out against this credit, is so you're going anyway. That's another thing, but that's my comments. If you want to succeed, and the people in here may do some math, and maybe y'all have a voting block that will vote for this, regardless of what you say. But I think if you look at other ways to make sure we got the most effective route cost-wise, that we can save the people money, because it's going to affect our home values too.
Well,
River Plantation, it floods, but then
it won't
what do
save you money, because every time we have to go for a bond election, it's
I know.
cha-ching,
Yeah.
cha-ching, cha-ching.
I
It
saw
costs
the
us more
numbers.
money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. So,
And Mr. McElroy, we're pretty close to having some more information, specifically the capital improvements plan, you know, presented to the board. The goal is to have that complete and hopefully made public well in advance of the bond election, so that the public has all of that information as well. Obviously, it's of real value to the board, you know, over the next 10 years in kind of evaluating capital improvements needs. But I think it will also be informative to the public.
okay.
That's the
Those are
question.
my points. I think that's all I can think of right now. I think the, you know, it's just the way it is. It's too bad that we didn't do the maintenance along the way, I guess. I know the assumption is we had engineers on the board that pretty well maintained the property and kept it in good shape, and that's where most people have been led to believe, I know.
I totally agree with you. I as a homeowner, I thought that was happening all along too. And you'll be amazed when you see some of the pictures.
Yeah. Well, let's be clear. That document, Julie, you were talking about being passed out, I had nothing to do with it. I got a copy just like you did.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to say it's wrong, all right, but I just what they passed out, I know.
Yeah, I understand.
So that's the way I guess they kind of broke the ice for you in making people aware. So look at it from that standpoint.
There you go. So
yeah.
All right, Tom, did you have something?
Yeah, I just have a question. I don't have a lot of experience in doing the bond issues, learning class, but that goes. My question is, those of you here that know more about it and have done it, what's your level of confidence at the amount that we're asking for now? I mean, are we asking for more in order to get this passed?
So that amount was based on information that was provided based on recommendations from the district's engineer, right? So our conversations with Jeff and Taylor about the long-term needs of the district. You know, if we are looking out, you know, over a, you know, 15, 20, 25 year period, what do we need? And what would give us a cushion beyond those needs in order to be able to replace the infrastructure that they believe is likely necessary to be replaced.
Yeah, so, I agree with all of that, but really my question is our ability to get it passed. I mean, everybody that I've heard, when they hear that number, they just sit back. And I'm wondering, are we trying to go too far? Maybe we should only try to go 10 years. I'll probably be here then.
Right. Right. You mean 10 million instead of 25?
Well, I mean, some number that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's our confidence level that we can get it approved at the 25 would be the ideal scenario. But should we rethink it maybe and reduce the amount in order to make sure we have some monies to work with?
Well, let me say this. We cannot reduce the amount for purposes of the May election. So we are past the deadline for the May election. You know, there could be a different number were there to be another proposition in the future. But for purposes of the bond election, you know, in May, the number has been decided and cannot be changed.
Okay, that's fine, but I don't hear anything about a level of any kind here. I guess it's a 50-50 thing right now, right?
Well, we just have to do a good job of explaining it and explaining it well, and educating people. Tom,
right.
when I showed you, well, I don't know, when I sent when Paul sent the email with some of those pictures, what did you think of some of those pictures you saw?
Well,
Would you like that in your backyard?
No, I knew more about them than they did. If you know, remember who found out and all.
Well, I know you did some, yes, but
Yeah.
Julie, again, with this 5 weeks out, what's the plan for communications?
Well, and this is what we were going to discuss tonight, but anyway, is
Can I make one more point too? Yeah.
Okay.
The other question I had, go ahead, Julie. No, you're through. Just let me have one question I thought about.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the rate, 5.5%. Are these what? Triple B bonds? I mean, tax exempt?
That's a projected rate.
Yeah, well, they're going to hold the federal rate near zero. So if you get 5.5, I think you ought to offer everybody in this whole subdivision the option to buy some of those bonds at 5.5%.
Mr. McElroy,
won't we, Robert?
Right.
that number is full of conservative projections for good reason. And the goal is to sell the bonds at the lowest possible interest rate. So,
yeah. Okay.
And we will take public bids for those bonds, and that's why we have a financial advisor in place to market the bonds, and all that good stuff. So,
well, here again, if you can if you can send the market to the homeowners in here, some people got some money, they may want to put some money on the table for that. Not to say I do, but I know there's some that do. If you're looking to market them, if you got a good rate.
Well, this is something that we were going to talk about tonight anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah, what I was going to say, Tom, to get back to your question was, I think it was you or was it Gerard? I don't remember who asked. We were going to discuss it tonight about having a town hall meeting and putting together and letting everyone know what's happening and tell them why and show them why more than anything, because some people have to see it visually. So I'm looking at sometime in April is what I was going to recommend, because I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what day of the week it is right now. So
Thursday, because we're having a meeting.
Well, yeah, Thursday. Okay. So, but anyway, sometime in April, I was looking at having a town hall meeting. So
yep, I think that's necessary. I was going to suggest the same. You know,
yes.
But I'd like to. I think Robert has some points. Is you know what the implications for the homeowners are going to be before the meeting, and we something that they can look at, and we need to be able to show them some kind of, I guess, restraint that we will be taking and how we will do it, so that the money, you don't go pull the whole 27. They got to understand that,
Right.
That's what we've got to make sure we do right.
Right. We have to educate them, and we have to educate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all in this together, and we're all new at it. So
well, you want to educate before and not afterwards, because afterwards,
right,
it ain't gonna be. The education ain't gonna be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
Well, we need to probably get back on target.
Yep. Do we have any other comments from the public? That it? All right. Number 3, the engineer's report, capital improvements plan. Shoot, Taylor.
Hey guys, so just real quick, those engineers' reports are complete for the bond authorization election, as Davis alluded, put up on site with his staff and Richard. The 10-year CIP, we're still working on compiling all the projects, producing preliminary cost estimates for each individual project, and then projecting and forecasting where those best fit into when you would want to sell bonds. Just for everybody's understanding, we're looking at, what's the most important things to fix up front and spending about that $5 million range on bonds first. That gets you out of the woodwork, gets everybody settled down, and then you start looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, where the district has now become a little more financially steady and things that thing is what can we fund out of operating versus what can we sell bonds for. I think we're all in agreement that we're looking to sell these bonds up front, get the district back on track, and then reserve bond sales for, as David said, major projects and things like that versus having a comfortable operating fund in which you can spend operating to fix a lot of stuff.
And let me just, this is Jeff again, let me just go back to the public comment. It did come up about contacting the county, and as these projects start, that's definitely going to occur. I mean, we don't want to pay to fix anything that's Montgomery County's responsibility. All that coordination will be done at the proper time.
Right. Oh, and can I make a comment too, Robert? This is when you were talking about people's ditches being cleaned out. And Charlie Riley we have actually been working with them, and he has some of them they will not do because they're afraid of flooding the other homes around them and creating problems in neighboring properties. So it's a problem that's going to have to be worked out with between the engineers and the county to figure out what the best way of handling that is. But I personally have asked for my ditch to be done, and they won't do it because they're afraid of what it's going to do to my neighbors.
Well, that's why we have an engineering people that can, for what you have there, to be able to negotiate with them on that. But I can show you culverts where Waste Management or UPS or FedEx had destroyed the culverts and the roads by them, and how dirt is built up. Just go drive around Braxton Bragg.
I know Braxton Bragg. I've been down there many a times, but anyway, Jeff, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I just wanted to point that out, because it was brought up earlier.
Yes, good point. And then the acquisition of district files, we got all the stuff from Blisle. We sent Richard a link today. We're going to be delivering back the hard files when we get a chance. Then going on, water well number 1, we received a letter from Blisle Engineering notifying that a request for capping well number 1 and removal of water plant number 1 had been approved. I did attach the letter. We were unaware of any formal request by Blisle that's happened. So I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention and give you a heads up. This doesn't mean we have to cap the well. This doesn't mean we have to get rid of the water plant. We're still evaluating this process, but this was submitted on y'all's behalf by Blisle and was approved by TCEQ.
Who did they say authorized that? Because we voted not to do that.
We just got a letter.
Taylor, if I can clear it up.
I know the answer to that one because I was real upset when I saw it because I voted against shutting the place.
Okay.
But
Taylor,
if you look at how it was worded, it says discuss action on number 1 pump replacement or plant removal. But the
Taylor,
that go ahead, Richard. Hey, Tom, let Richard say what he wants to say because I want to hear what he has to say. Go ahead, Richard.
Taylor and the rest of the board, that letter was strictly put in place to get us, for the TCQ to authorize us to put that well in a monitoring mode. The rest of the calculations, and they went over that and said, yes, you got plenty of capacity. You can do that without altering the rest of that system. Tom's right. You don't have to do all that. They're basically saying if you want to do that, you're cleared to do it. But they did authorize us to put that plant and that well in a monitoring mode so we don't have to test it until 5 years. That's all it was supposed to say.
Is that what it says, Jeff?
Yes.
That's not the way we read it. But
that's all we asked them. That's all we asked them to do was to authorize us to put it in monitoring mode.
Right.
And we don't have the original letter that was sent to the TCQ. All the letter reads was that received notification later dated January 12th regarding capped well number 1 and removal of water plant number 1 for the above reference project. And then it goes, according to your report, the system can currently serve and meet the minimum requirements with the removal of water plant number 1 and capped water plant 1. So I don't know what the actual letter read to them. It could have very well read something, what Richard said. I do not know. This is just what it stated.
Did Blisle give you a copy of that letter when they released their records?
Yes, I've got a copy of that letter, Taylor. I can give it to you. And believe me, the TCQ, with all due respect to them, It's hard to find a person that knows anything about monitoring over there. They all.
We do not doubt that,
But-
Richard. We didn't mean to stir up anything. We were not aware of the letter.
And because it talked about abandoning number one, and we do have some funds in both the bond authorization report and the ongoing CIP plan, we just want to make everybody aware that we weren't aware of this. That's why those costs are there. If the plan was to abandon it, we didn't know that when we were putting costs together.
That was not what the board voted on.
Okay.
That is correct. The board only voted to put it in a monitoring mode, and
Right.
that was TCQ's response to it.
Perfect.
Look at the last paragraph of the letter that the CCQ. It says you're going into a monitoring mode.
Right.
Where'd you get the letter?
It's in the packet.
It's in your packet.
At the very
Oh,
bottom of the
from
letter on the
Taylor?
first page, it does say that per your notification, the capped well number one will be monitored and tested every 5 years. It just surprised us where it said the removal of the plant as a whole. Typically, I haven't seen them state that. So I agree with Richard. I think the TCQ kind of was overzealous in their approval, which is rare.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't maybe a cut paste from another letter and some things got left in it.
That's
with
correct.
What they sent.
Yes.
Okay.
So for clarification,
Exactly right.
I think this may be a TCEQ issue, not necessarily what was gone against the board's wishes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Other than that, any questions or comments? I know we talked a lot in the public comments about some stuff. I sent a presentation draft to all the board members. I know I've got a couple of people that came back and have provided a few comments. Not sure if everybody has a chance, but if you have any comments, feel free to call and talk about them. Email me directly, whatever's best method, whenever you get a chance, so that we can get it finalized.
And you know your residents far better than we do. So if you see things that you know specific residents or groups or would want to see or have expressed differently, we welcome your opinions because they are your neighbors.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Jeff or Taylor? Thank you, guys. All right. So item number 4, there's nothing we need to take action on right now. On night number 3, correct? We're good?
Correct.
That's right.
All right. Number 4, review responses from operators to requests for proposals. Take action as necessary. Is this you, Tim? Who's working on this one? Tim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's 4 operators that we've been that have received the RFP.
Okay.
And the delay in the discussion for tonight is that there's a tour that's going to be scheduled for probably next week.
Okay.
Taylor, I'm guessing you're going to be involved in that. Is that correct?
Yes, I will. And I'll be coordinating with all the operators and Richard. Richard, I don't know your availability, but maybe worthwhile to get a key from you for future things, just so I don't always have to pull you away from something if need be for any sort of plant access.
So
Tim,
Sure, no problem. Just let me
that's
know when
where
you're
we
ready.
stand.
I'll schedule it.
Hey,
That's
Tim,
where
this
we
is
stand
Scott.
right now.
I've received calls from 3 of the operators to talk about the district on the phone. I have not heard from the 4th yet.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That's where we stand.
All right. So we're tabling that one to
Correct.
next month?
Yes.
Okay.
Julie, let me just add, just so everyone knows, if you're not checking your official email, we've provided by email all of the RFP responses to the board members. So it was done earlier this week, which doesn't give you a whole lot of time, but we were getting them in as fast as we could. So feel free to check your email and take some time to look through everything.
Okay. And I, for one, will tell you, I saw them come in, but I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. So, okay. All right. So item number 5, receive a report from the district's attorneys.
Okay. Well, I can say that we've been pretty actively involved in the RFP process, capital improvements plan, and various other matters that are going on. I think we've discussed most of it. Paul, is there anything you want to add on the litigation?
I'll just add that we're still working out the settlement of the Charleston. Everyone should recall we have a memorandum of settlement from the mediation, and it requires several things. We are ready and able to perform, and we're waiting on the CIA to finish checking its boxes. That stuff just takes a while. Everyone understands we've already extended the settlement agreement deadlines once, and we're looking at doing that again because we want to keep the settlement in place while everybody uses good faith to try to do it. It's just hard, right? We have COVID, and then we had the winter storm, and that busted our extension deadline completely. So we're working on that. We got you covered, and hopefully we'll know more for next meeting.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, number 6, review financial and bookkeeping matters. Bookkeeper's report, report from the tax assessor collector. I did have a question somewhere if I can find where I wrote it. But does anybody have any questions on the bookkeeper's report?
No.
Julie, I'll have to admit, I haven't made it all the way through this. But in the bookkeeper's report that we look at, do we get a breakdown of our legal expenses, like how much we spent on the operators process, the engineers process, the litigation process, and so on?
No, they usually just send us an itemized bill. And Tom, are you signing checks now?
No.
So who's signing checks?
You're the only one still authorized to do that.
Okay. Okay.
So going forward, can we get that and maybe get a look back of the last 6 months, how much that's broken down?
Gerard, does it help you to look at the actual versus budget on the bookkeeper's report? That gives you a line item of each one you're talking about, and it also gives you the total for the year.
Yeah, but I think it just says legal fees, Richard. It doesn't say how much for yeah, for each project.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The other thing here's Gerard, I'm sure you can go up and look at the bills and put together a spreadsheet if you want to. And
well, what I'm asking is, can we ask our bookkeeper to do that and start including it in the report? And really, I'd like to look back 6 months, honestly.
Gerard, what I'd have to do is I have to pull all of their bills. Because they send me 3 separate bills, and I'll have to create subcodes. Then we can break it back out that way.
All right. Well, if we could at least do it going forward, starting this month, that's at a minimum, I think we should do that.
Gerard, hey, don't butt in. This is Jeff. Gerard, if for the engineering, if you're looking at that, every project that we do, we have a separate project number, with the exception of general district engineering. If you want, I can get a report run and you could see the charges for each one of those on the engineering side. It may be a little simple, but I'll give you that to start with. That'll save your bookkeeper from trying to go back and pull things out.
And that'd be great, Jeff. I'd appreciate that. My main focus that was on the legal expenses.
And ours is broken out into general and then litigation matters, and we just, typically we don't break it out in a project by project basis like the engineers would, unless it's a litigation, like a specific lawsuit, or some sort of specific matter. A lot of generally when I'm talking to, like when I talk to the engineers, for example, we'll talk about 3 or 4 different things. It makes it challenging from a billing standpoint to say, okay, well, we talked for, 3 minutes about the capital improvements plan and, 2 minutes about the RFPs and, stuff like that. So that's why we do it in an itemized format generally.
If you understand where I'm coming from, I'd like to know how much we're spending on the bond, how much we're spending on the RFP for engineering, how much we're spending on the RFP for operators, I mean, those are kind of big buckets.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we can break those out as separate matters going forward for the two RFPs. And yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions on the bookkeeper's report?
Yeah, can we get them earlier next time? I didn't get mine till about 2:30 today.
Yeah, I thought we were trying to get them on Mondays, but apparently.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't have time to go over it at all.
The report, Richard, can you follow up on that?
Yeah, they were late getting it. I got it the next
This
morning,
is like
Tuesday.
the second
and I was
month in a row they've been late in getting them. So, I mean, if we can't get them in time to look at them, it does us no good to look at them. I mean, if we're looking at it like that, we might as well have it through the end of the previous month so we can compare apples to apples instead of through whatever date they're going through.
I'll talk to Carol tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Because apparently, actually, as I'm looking at this report, they went through today. Because it says as of today. Isn't today the 25th? Yeah, as of today.
Well, they date that report for the board meeting.
So then I really can't compare apples to apples. Because if they're dating it as of the board meeting, I mean, anyway, I need to have a discussion with Carol, I guess. So, because as an accountant, you don't just hypothetically date things in the future.
Yeah,
So.
I've noticed that before.
Okay. Any other comments on the bookkeeper's report? All right. How about the report from the tax assessor collector?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
We need a motion to approve the bookkeeper's report, pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there, I haven't gotten to the bills yet, Davis, so I'll get there second.
Okay.
Any questions on the investments? Other than the fact that our account that has the most money going through it is getting the least amount of interest. I don't understand that, but I guess it was when it was entered into. So, yeah. So, can we see about maybe moving some of that money to one? I mean, I know it's not that big of a difference. It's 0.1% interest, but 0.1%. You know, just, I mean, I'm not talking about moving it to a different bank. I'm just talking about moving it between accounts, maybe. You know what I mean?
I'll get
to maximize.
Yeah, I'll get with her tomorrow on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot, but every little bit helps at this point. So.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Then D is approved payment of the district's bills. Anybody have any questions on what's upcoming to be paid? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the bills and get them signed and get them mailed.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right. All four approving the payment of the bills?
Aye, Tim.
Aye.
Tom, aye.
Mark, aye.
Julie, aye. Gerard, did you vote in there?
I did. I think that Tom and I said aye. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Number 7, review the administrative reports, the manager's reports, and the systems totals reports. What do you got, Richard?
Well, everything's running fine. There's no problems with the plants. They're all doing well. Everything's staying within range. Production is still low on the water. Surprisingly, we have hardly any issues with anybody on the freeze side. All the bills have been paid. We have a normal, overdue list, but I mean, it's not extensive. at all. So we did really good on that. The systems totals report, you can see the loss went up a little bit. That's probably, some of it's because of the breaks that we had. And we did have one line that broke at the wastewater plant, but other than that, that's it. Everything else is running fine.
I
So
noticed
these
we had more people using over 50,000 gallons.
Well, yeah, that was because of their pipes, not that
Yeah.
they used it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Richard, so these accounts that are over 60 days past due, what are we doing with those?
Those are the ones I'm getting ready to cut off.
Okay.
But remember, the board voted not to cut them off, so I'm kind of
right,
in
because of
limbo
the,
there.
but that was if they
That-
were because of if they were incurred
Right.
during the freeze, they wouldn't be at over 60 yet,
That's right.
because that was just last month. They'd still be in the
Ex-
1 to 30 days.
Exactly.
So these that
So
are
the
over
ones that
60 should have been shut off before.
I was gonna say the ones that are past due from before the freeze, I'm still cutting those off.
Okay. We
Richard, I got a question.
shut off. Okay.
Yeah.
Richard, as far as work orders go on a daily to weekly basis, is there a way that when we have the monthly meeting, we can get a copy of work orders that have gone out so we can see issues that are going on within the territory?
Yeah, I can print out all of the work orders. We have a work order program.
I think that would be good. That way we get a handle on what's going on in the neighborhood.
Sure, no problem. I can just include those in the packet.
Great.
Hey, Richard, am I reading this report right? Maybe this is the first time I've seen this. The average water charge for an active meter is $20.02 a month.
Yeah, I saw that there. I'm not sure if that's overall or not. I have to ask about that program, what that one's saying. Because we have some that are a lot less and we have some that are a lot more. So, especially at this month.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Richard on the manager's reports or the system totals reports? Let me set the phone ringing. Is that me?
I'm gonna go to sleep.
It's pretty.
I was afraid it was me and I couldn't figure out how to turn it off.
I figured out who it was, and the person has been muted.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Although we did enjoy it, the classical gas or whatever that was.
Kind of like a Spanish guitar or something. It was nice.
There you go. All
Okay,
right,
Julie, I just looked back at 2 months on that systems totals report. That must be because of the higher usage of water flow that went through. Because I looked at last month and that average was only 1528, and the month before that was 1310. So it's probably because of the extra usage that went through.
Well, there you
because of the
go,
broken
Robert. How much do you want your water bill to go up to cover the the bond? Just $13 a month is pretty dang cheap. So for
That's
water.
cheap.
So, okay, discuss any pending business. Do we need to go into executive session for anything? Is there anything we need to, anything we
ma'am.
need to discuss pending?
Julie, I was hoping that, yeah, we could jump into executive session, maybe a short one. Hoping that there's a little bit more information that you guys can share on litigation.
Oh, sure. Be happy to.
And I did have one other question, so that'd be much appreciated.
Okay. All right, we're going to jump into, well, do you want to set the time for the next meeting and then we can jump into executive session and let everybody else off?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Sure.
Okay.
Don't we have to come back into the open meeting after an executive session?
Yeah, we do. We do,
Yes, sir.
but the public doesn't need to hang on if they don't want to, because basically once we set the meet, that's all we're going to do is probably adjourn.
Right.
So.
And you guys don't need us for anything in the public sector or the okay.
Executive session.
Executive session.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yep. All right.
Now
So
we want to discuss this program, what do they call it? The presentation on the district that,
Oh, the town hall?
That's not an executive session.
Yeah.
no, I didn't mean that. That's why I asked if we're going to do that.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. So here's what I'm thinking, and y'all can kick in ideas or whatever. The only place big enough to hold this is 1, the country club, and 2, the church. Okay. So my choice would be the church because we're probably not going to be able to get the country club. So what I was going to do, if anybody has any objections, let me know, was check and see when we could use it. I know we can't use it on Wednesday nights, and I know we can't use it a couple of other nights during the week. But my thought was we have a meeting on the 22nd. So my thought was either like that next Tuesday, if we could. When is the election? The 3rd? No, the
May
4th,
1st.
right?
May 1st,
Oh, it's May 1st?
Saturday.
May 1st.
Oh, okay.
How about the second week in April? Would that not be a timing wise?
Tom, you're gonna kill me.
That's right. That's right when early voting
Starts?
is
Right.
starting. Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, okay. When does
So-
that start?
So we're really
Mid-April.
looking at the 6th or the 8th, the week before.
Right. That's probably the best.
Okay. Okay. So
That-
does anybody have a
that-
conflict on either one of those days, or anybody have a preference? I mean, of course, it depends on what the church can do and accommodate us, but anybody have a preference of one of those days?
This is
I'm
Mark, and it's just me, but I would say probably 2/3 of the month of April, I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay. Are you gonna be in town at all that first week?
I will be in town through the 5th. Then I'm gone for a week. I come back for some stuff, and then I'm flying pretty much the last half of the month.
Okay.
Monday's the 5th.
And Tuesday, I'm out of town.
Okay.
Well,
How about Monday the 5th, Julie? Would that work? Is the Monday generally a good night for the church?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I'd have to, I'm trying to remember most of the things that they've had there. What nights have they had them on? Does anybody remember when the CIA has had their meetings and all the political things that were there? Does anybody remember what nights those were?
Tuesdays generally, I think.
Yeah, I
Tuesdays.
think Tuesday would be better than the 5th because that's Easter Monday. That's people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's Easter Monday. The 4th is Easter.
Yeah.
Mark, you said you can attend on the 5th, correct?
The evening, I mean, I've got stuff in the morning, but the afternoon I could, but I'm leaving as early as I can on the morning of the 6th.
So if it was like 6 o'clock on Monday, would that be early enough?
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, Monday I'm home. I've got stuff in the morning, but the afternoon I'm off, but I'm leaving the 6th.
So Julie, it sounds to me like I would like to have all the board representatives there.
Yep.
Sounds like the 5th would be the preference, maybe 6th or 8th as a backup.
Okay. Let me make a note and
All of those
Okay.
days work for us as well.
I will not be here. This is Jeff. I will not be here the 8th, but Taylor can do either day.
okay.
and the 6th or the 8th in the evening will work for me, but it's going to be a little complicated. The 5th works. So
The 5th works. Okay.
Make it the 5th.
So about 6:30.
Yeah.
That's
it
fine.
works.
Okay.
If you'll just let me know when you figure it out, so we can make sure we get the
Okay.
agenda properly posted
Okay.
and all that stuff. That'd be great.
We will do
Work
it.
with Richard.
So, okay. And our next regularly scheduled meeting is April 22nd. You gonna be
April.
gone for that one too, Mark?
I should be home for that one.
Okay. So do we
I go
want to
out the
start?
I go out the next day, but right now I'm off the 22nd. Yes.
Okay. So do we want to start meeting again in person, or do we want to keep going like we are now?
One
I'll
question.
have my second vaccine by then.
I've already had mine, so go ahead, Gerard.
Are we paying travel time to lawyers, engineers, and would we be able to save that if we keep meeting via teleconference?
Yeah, I'm seeing head shake. Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's correct.
Yes and yes on that.
And truthfully, the 6 o'clock meeting time is can be particularly challenging.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do we want to do I don't know though. Do we want to do the town hall this way, or do we want to do the town hall in person? I kind of think we want to do it in person.
This is Jeff. I don't think you want to do it virtual.
Okay.
I think that's a big problem.
Okay.
let me add one other thing. I would suggest just because we don't have everything finalized, you might want to have another meeting between now and then, like a workshop type meeting to discuss the presentation amongst the board and to review the materials and all of that stuff.
Okay.
That means next week, one day.
That's it.
Right.
Next week.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. So do we want to, are you in town next week, Mark?
Let's see. Today's the 25th. I leave tomorrow. I'm back Sunday. I go back out on Wednesday and back on Friday.
Okay, so we need to
And
do
then
it Tuesday
then
or
it's Easter weekend or whatever.
oh
so,
yeah, Friday's Good Friday.
Yeah. So after the Monday Monday and Tuesday basically, I'm off, and then I'm flying, and then it's Easter weekend.
Okay. And that doesn't
Meet
give
when
us
you
long.
can. If you have 4 people there, meet when you can, and just take good notes, and I'll study the notes, and I'll be up to speed for the.
Yeah, we can always send you the presentation to look at.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Because Monday and Tuesday are next to impossible for me. I just scheduled some things today. But I could do Wednesday afternoon or Thursday anytime.
I say Thursday.
Okay.
Want to do about what about 3 o'clock?
Are you talking about April 15th?
No, I'm talking March
April
1st.
April 1st.
No,
Okay.
March 31st.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wednesday.
I thought that would be
the 31st.
Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah. Is that what
March
we said?
31st.
Wednesday or Thursday?
I thought Tim said Thursday, but
Oh, did you say Thursday, Tim?
Same
Yeah,
here.
Thursday with a T.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday's
Sorry.
the 1st.
Okay.
That's all right.
So Thursday, what time?
3 o'clock works for
3
me.
o'clock? Okay.
I thought that was what you
Okay.
mentioned, Julie.
Yeah.
Have to throw something together for an agenda because I got to post that tomorrow.
Is 3:30 possible?
Yeah, we can.
That works here.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, I can just join you a little late. But I'm tied up between 3 to 3:15.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do that virtual on the 1st. Is that right?
I guess. Yeah. I guess we can. So if I put together a PowerPoint thing, that's actually what I was planning on doing tomorrow. But if I put together a PowerPoint thing, can you guys put it on? Can you share your screens on Teams?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know if that accommodates your schedule, Mark. If we do that, if it's virtual, maybe you can call in if you are traveling.
I'll be in Lima, Peru. I'm not sure about calling in from Lima, Peru.
I was gonna say good luck with the internet. Yeah. Yeah.
Get on the airplane and use the fancy Wi-Fi from the airplane.
There you go.
I have to pay for that. No, I'm playing with that.
Oh my gosh.
No, I do to get the regular internet. We get special for our official stuff. But now, if I want to surf the internet and stuff like that, I have to pay for it just like the normal people. But I'll be in Lima, and that's, you know, it's a day I fly in. I've got a morning to do it, but then I got a nap because the next night I'm flying all night to come back. So even if I could get on the internet, I'll be napping in the afternoon just so I'm wide awake for the flight back in.
Well, we certainly want you wide awake. I was just trying to explore option.
Yeah.
I understand. It's no problem. But yeah, that's the middle of the trip. So yeah, I'll have to
All right.
decline.
All right, so we got one scheduled for next Thursday at 3:30. And then we're gonna do our regular meeting the 22nd at 6:30 virtually, correct?
Mhm.
And then we're gonna try and get the town hall scheduled for either the 5th or the 6th. So as soon as I know something, I'll let you all know. So
Yeah, do you guys have a number or something for the executive session? Because I didn't get one.
it went to your email.
No, I didn't.
It
You want me to
the
forward it to
email
you?
has the
Would you
Zoom or
please?
the team meeting, but for a phone call, I'm assuming we call the same number and just put it in a different code.
Yeah, do you need me to forward it to you too, Mark?
No, I've got the phone number. If
Oh.
it's the same phone number as this
Well,
meeting with
I
a
have
different
a phone
access
number.
code, I can do that.
Yeah, it's just a different access code.
Okay.
I've got a
Don't
phone
make it.
number.
I'm there in spirit.
Okay, I just sent it to your email, Tom.
Okay. Let me go find an email, see if I can.
Yeah, let me
David,
make
can
sure
you
I've got it as well.
Okay, I sent it
second.
to your
It
MUD
was in-
email, Tom.
It was in the packet that Richard delivered, page 2 of the thing. For the general public, it gives the phone number and
But you
the
gotta have
access
the
code
code.
for this. But the
Right.
email has the executive meeting code. I
Right.
have that.
Gerard, do you need me to forward it to you?
Hey, would you text it to me?
Just the code?
Just the code.
Okay.
Davis, can you put some verbiage together for me from that agenda? Because I got to post that on Monday.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else need the code or the how to get in?
I think I'm good.
We're good? All right. See you guys in a minute then.
Bye.
See you guys.
So if I mute my microphone, I can call in or what?
Yes.
I don't have the phone number. I got the code. Let me see here.
So the number to call in is on page 2 of the packet, item number 2. Is that correct?
Yes. Call the same number you called for the meeting. Tim, I'm going to text you the number. It has the access code, but for the regular meeting. So don't.
I got the other code.
Okay. But this has the both. Okay. Okay. You get it, Gerard?
Okay, there we go.
See, we have Julie.
Right, Teams meeting.
Is that Gerard?
Yes.
Hey. Perfect.
Mark's up.
Mark. We're just missing Tim.
Tape machine.
Is that everybody?
I believe so.
See, Julie's on mute.
You there, Julie?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Are we all back?
Yeah.
We are.
Mark's up.
Okay. All right. So I guess all we need to do is, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Mark,
We
I
adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Tim seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Tim, I.
Mark, aye.
Julie, aye.
Tom, I.
Gerard, I.
All right. See you guys
Want to have a good
next
night?
week, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. April 5th, 6:30 is a go.
Okay, great.
And April 1st, we're going to have our rehearsal.
Yes.
That's right. And I already sent Richard a note. And Julie, if you wouldn't mind, if you have the address of that church or some information on the church, I just want to make sure it's properly reflected in the meeting notice. That'd be great.
I will send it to you shortly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, everybody. Good meeting.
Good night.
Let's go.
Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.